Hi, I'm Hailey, and thank you for coming to my presentation. I'll let you sit real quick. Here's my website URL if you want to check it out later. But anyway, my title of my presentation is Passion and Purpose in the World of Public Relations and Beyond. Passion and purpose is what we find at the very core of our beings. It ignites what we want to do with our lives. Passion and purpose is why we dream the dreams we do. When passion meets purpose is where we truly find our calling. When I found out that I had to present on something about where our passion and purpose lies, I just sat down and this whole phrase just came to my head and just kind of walking through the process of what that looks like and how I can tie in of the passion behind doing public relations with my passion of doing ministry and furthering the kingdom of God. So for one of my classes, I had to come up with my own definition of public relations. So it's a little lengthy, but it kind of covers everything. So public relations is the bond between an organization or company and the audience that is being focused in on to expand their reputation. They're maintaining relationships and having effective management in effort to impact values, opinions, beliefs, behaviors, truths, and ethics to create or maintain authentic relationships for both the company and consumer. So I'll be talking about how PR helped ignite just maintaining a passion for people and relationship building, and how PR has also launched a purpose of going further into what that looks like outside of PR and how that looks like for furthering the kingdom of God. So also within, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I was sitting down with my mentor, and she told me this quote that just really struck with me. And she said, when passion and purpose meet, it is then when it ignites something in our souls. And as I said, it just hit me, and it really made me think of, what am I really passionate about? What do I really want to do? And as graduation's nearing, to really just think about that and just to meditate on that. And I was reminded about back to my junior year in high school that I really just felt like a ministry calling on my life. And obviously as Christians, I know we're called to a life of ministry, but I knew that this ministry looked like vocational ministry. But obviously at that time too, I didn't know exactly what that looked like. So fast forward a couple years, I'm here at Biola. I started out in a different major, and I just still didn't know what I wanted to do until I was talking to one of my friends who lived on my floor my freshman year, and she was all about PR. She loved it. She was always talking about it, and she told me to schedule a meeting with Dr. Kim to learn more about it. And so I did that. Next thing you know, switched to public relations. And the further that I went with my PR classes, the more and more that I realized that everything was coming to a full circle of how I could use what I've learned from PR to use it in a ministry setting. So it was really cool just seeing the full circle of that and how faithfully God worked through it all. So my key point, number one, is public relations is an industry that helps ignite a passion for people and building relationships with people into the world. So from about January to September, I interned at my church, and within that experience, it was so much experience that I never really expected that I would have gotten from it. It covered so many different areas. So it was really exciting that I just got to dip my feet in a lot of different areas. One of the things I got to do was over summer, I was able to go to summer camp as a leader for the junior high and high school. And I was in charge of making the photo and video for the week, which is kind of crazy because I had to be everywhere at once and multiple places at once to make sure I was capturing the photos that need to be captured and the videos, just to really maintain building a relationship with people through these experiences that they could look back on and be like, that was a pillar moment in my life. God really spoke to me then. Or that was really rad when that speaker said that. That was really funny when that person did that. And just to kind of take a look back and through these, just kind of taking the time to take photos of people. People love getting their photos taken, and so it's just kind of like a cool little, hey, I see you, I recognize you, and building a relationship with that person with just like a little task of making a photo video thing to show at the end of the week. Also, for our women's retreat in April, we decided to produce our very own magazine titled Heart of Gold. It matched with our theme from Job and just being tested and coming out like gold. And so I was the production assistant on it, and I also got to be a writer for one of the articles. And that was really cool because I got to interview one of the women who shared a really intense, tested tale of about a month after her daughter was born, how they thought like she was gonna not make it. And it was just like a really exciting time to just build a relationship with her and just hear her story and help get her voice be heard and build this relationship with her. Also, as I mentioned, I am a high school small group leader for the freshman girls. I love it. I love getting to pour out with them, pour into them, and just build relationship with them and just help them recognize how important cultivating relationships in life is. Also on campus last year, I was the co-director of events for Biola PSSA, which is Public Relations Student Society of America. And within that, I had the responsibility of connecting with industry professionals and other students at other schools and students within Biola to schedule events and just to maintain relationships with them and how to build relationships with the professionals. And within this verse is one of my life verses. It's Galatians 2:20, and it says, I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. So this verse to me just kind of reminds me that on my forefront, that the whole reason why I build relationships with people and that I pour out is because it's through my relationship with God, and that's the focus of that. So kind of tying in with that, a job goal that I would ultimately love to have that fits with my passion and purpose of building relationships and just furthering the kingdom of God and working in ministries, to work in ministry, as I kind of mentioned, and just doing events for it and social media, administrative tasks, and just being able to pour out into others. So my second key point is public relations is an industry that helps ignite a purpose in the world of PR and for furthering the kingdom of God. So again, some other internship experience that I've had working the past several months at the church was I was able to learn the art of Photoshop, and I made this graphic for a new ministry that was launched in September called Go. And it's basically all behind Matthew 20 of the Great Commission to just go and make disciples. And so I was able to use what I learned in PR to understand how to market and how to advertise the different areas of how to get your message across to people. And people can take a little QR reader and it'll take them right to the website. And on that page, it shares stories of people's testimonies. And so this was a really cool way of helping people reach of what they can do in a practical way of that. We made it into a big pull-up poster that's shown every Sunday, and just kind of a reminder of people to have this mindset. I also run the social media for the church, which sounds kind of weird, but it's also really exciting that I'm able to use what I learned in one of my classes I took here for social media, SEO, and digital strategy, and how to make content calendars, and how to schedule posts, and how to formulate them, and how to use that in a practical ministry setting, that I can schedule things like a verse of the day or a verse of the week, or just upcoming future events for people just to stay connected, and maybe as they're scrolling through their Instagram feed or through their Facebook, that they could find something that's super encouraging or just a reminder as something that they needed to hear. Also, public relations has really continued to develop my eye for attention to detail. I've always been an extremely detail-oriented person, and PR has definitely added to that, especially just the classes and just what you really have to pay attention to when you are putting together something. And so within that, for the women's retreat, I was asked to produce the whole entire weekend. And so I was the point person for if something went wrong, or I had to make sure that I knew how to fix it, or who to come take care of it, or just making sure people who had specific jobs were where they needed to be, and just making sure everything ran smoothly. Same thing with Sunday morning church services. I've gotten to produce some of those, and just making sure that the people who are scheduled for certain things show up, they understand what needs to happen. And it may sound kind of silly that like all this goes into like church event planning or services, but it really helps the congregation be able to enter in and be able to have just know that they can come and just enter in with a heart of worship, and that they know that like everything will run smoothly because of all the preparation that's happened and gone into it, and all the detail that has occurred. So with that being said, this is also another one of my life verses, Colossians 3:23 through 24, which reads, "Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ." And I love this verse because it reminds me that because of my relationship with Christ is why I do what I do, and why I have my passions, and why my purpose is what it is, because I'm choosing to serve God, and that through that is where everything else comes from. So, a reminder, when passion and purpose meet, it is then when it ignites something in our souls. So as cheesy as it may sound, find where your passion and your purpose meet, and it will be found, and God will be so faithful to guide you through it. Thanks. Any Q&A?